Yo, what's up, everybody? Let's give it a few minutes to let some people log on. Thanks for joining me today. I've spent the last 2 hours researching and planning this live stream, so you guys are gonna love it, and we're gonna talk about everything from the perspective of, is it possible for us to drop? So let's give it a few minutes, let some people join me. This is gonna be a really good live stream, so make sure you guys stick in till the end. Is the bull run over? The bull run is over, isn't it? We're finished. The redeemed 117 says, definitely sell everything. Get out now while you can. I'm just kidding. So let's give it a few minutes, guys. It's going to be a good one. All right. I'm not one of those professionals editing all of their content for hours to get hundreds of thousands of views. I just post raw content, unedited, unfiltered, lots of fucking swearing in it, being my genuine and authentic self, and that's all I'm ever gonna be. Because of that, I actually get a lot of hate on Twitter, tons of it, but yet people keep following me, man. If you guys go back on my Twitter posts from yesterday, for example, okay? I'm literally posting play-by-play for you guys. I'm probably the only person that does this, posting play-by-plays when Bitcoin's at $105,000. I'm basically telling them that we're downtrending. I'm calling supports, right? I'm telling everybody where the exact support is. So if you guys are not following me on Twitter, you probably should. I called right here that the next stop is $99,100. Where did I post that? Trying to look for it right here. I made a YouTube video at literally 6 in the morning for you guys, or 3 in the morning for you guys, my time, saying that 99,100 must hold. So I'm always going to update you guys with the most raw content. Let's get right into it. And in this video, we're only going to keep it on point and about topic. There's going to be none of that advertising shit that I normally do. But just so you guys know, I started to correct in my portfolio and especially in my trading as well. So I took a $50,000 loss on Ethereum just 2 days ago, but this is basically where I finished off at in the bull market here. I'll show you guys really quickly. For my 30-day trading, I made about $422,000 minus the 50K. So I made $370,000 day trading in about 1 month and 10 days. Still very, actually, no. I made 490,000 minus 50. So I made 440K day trading in about 40 days. So I'm pretty happy with those profits. But let's get right on topic, guys, and talk about what's going on with the market. So in today's video, we're going to be mainly dealing with Elliot wave theory. I'm going to talk to you guys about the possibility of the market being over short term and also being possibly over long term as well. Now, this is not something you want to hear, but it's something you need to acknowledge to understand that whenever a bull market is over, it's often too late, and people are too late to identify that it's over. So because of that, I'm taking on an immense amount of de-risking to ensure that I don't get fucked over. I would rather de-risk right now and sacrifice some long-term potential profits in case the bull market does continue than to actually be in the market and heavily exposed if the market was actually over. By the time people acknowledge that a bull market is over, you're fucked in every single way. So I'm gonna talk to you guys about the potential of a bull market being over versus the potential of a bull market continuing as well. And we're gonna talk about it from the perspective of ROI halving cycles and ROI cycles based off of the halving, and also Elliot wave theory. So let's just jump right into it, okay? So the first thing that I wanna point out to everybody is this very interesting chart by Into the Cryptoverse, which shows quant data. So what this quant data shows is that every time we're reaching roughly the 240-day period, there's like a fucking major correction that happens, okay? This happens every time. Now, before, in both cycles, these happened in roughly January. But the reason for this having in January, or the drop happening in January, is because the halving cycle actually began in July in 2016 and in May in 2020, which gave it a little bit of a grace period. But because this halving cycle ended up starting in April, we're slightly offsetted by a few weeks back from the original dates. So what you're going to notice is that in the 2016 and 2020 halving cycle, after the new year in January, we ended up dropping like a stupid amount. So we're getting close to that 240-day period already. And Elliot wave theory is showing us that we are bearish as fuck. And we're going to be very lucky if we actually get one more wave. So this right here is the halving, okay, right here. This is the halving in July of 2016. And this is where one of the first scary drops happened. The first one was on day 180, but the next one after that, it finished off the entire wave, which basically gave us the super correction, okay? So you can see that the first dip that we got on about 180 days was huge, okay? We didn't get anything like that yet. But on the 240th day, what ended up happening, or 244th day, was this guy right here. Actually, it began, yeah, this candle. You just don't see this candle that I'm showing you, where I'm putting the vertical bar over it because it's got those wicks. But this is where it was. And this took place at 244 days, which dropped the market 30%. So that's one example of how this is where the market ends up dropping substantially in March, but also in January, it starts to drop substantially as well. So in January of that cycle, we ended up dropping 35%, okay? But keep in mind that this was offset because the cycle started a little bit later for the halving. So if you actually look at the May period as well, so this is May's 2020 halving. This is where the first big dip occurred right over here, okay? So this is also exactly roughly 240 days, 242 days. And this market drop, it rocked the market, 31%. We have not even had close to anything like that quite yet. I think the biggest drop we've had was like 15 to 20%. Let me just confirm that. Like the biggest drop we had was 10%. That's it. That's fucking nothing at all. And in this drop over here, we dropped 30%. That was our first big drop, but that was slightly after the halving. So it would be very unwise to say that a drop couldn't happen again around this period based off of the same type of cycle after the halving. If it happened in 2016 and it happened in 2020, it's probably gonna fucking happen again, right? There's no doubt about that, especially when you combine it with the fact that we are so overextended. Now, let me show you guys one case. I hate talking about this case, but you guys need to hear it because there's a very high possibility that this could be it as well. So if you take a look at 2021, what you see is 5 very clear waves. There's no ifs, ands, or fucking buts about it. There are 5 clear waves that ended up creating very clearly over here, right? You guys all agree with me. In fact, all of these subwaves could be counted, where this makes basically a 1 in here, a 2, a 3, a 4, and a 5. And this one creates a very shitty 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 as well. The 5th wave is always going to be crappy. If you've noticed, this 5th wave here is very crappy. This 5th wave is very crappy. Okay, so let's talk about Elliot wave and talk about the theory behind it first of all. Elliot wave, it ebbs and it flows in all market cycles. And it counts as 5 fractals that can be subdivided very clearly. This is a theory by Ralph Nelson Elliot, and it's been popularized by the books of, for example, Elliot Wave Principles by Robert Precher and AJ Frost. Okay, so these are very, very popular books, and these market cycles, they're very predictable when you study Elliott wave theory. But the reason why Elliott wave theory is not popular, to be quite honest, is because people are too fucking dumb to understand it. And I'm being honest, right? People don't have that same type of deduction skills that many other people have. So they're like, yeah, it's fucking bullshit. I'm going to throw it out the window. But it's because they just can't understand the deduction process when it comes to using Elliott wave theory. I apologize for being rude, but that's the truth, right? So Elliott wave says that there's 5 waves that flows. And it's normally very differentiable with a proportional pattern and fractal that goes upwards, okay? And it says that the wave 3 is often the longest, and it's also never the shortest. But there's a corollary. A corollary is basically an addition to a theory. So wave 3 is often the longest and never the shortest, okay? So basically wave 3 can be shorter than wave 1, but it has to be longer than wave 5. But oftentimes there are many waves called super, like elongated waves, okay? It's making something called an extended wave. An extended wave often happens in a bull market in maybe the 3rd wave, okay? If it's a 3rd wave that's extended, for example, the 5th wave can behave in 3 ways. 1, it can behave normally and it can exceed the high of wave 3. 2, it can double top the wave 3. And 3, because wave 3 was too large and too parabolic, the 5th wave doesn't have the same type of momentum. So it does something called a truncation, which actually falls below the 3rd wave territory. Okay, this often happens. Now, within each of these waves, what we're going to be able to see is a very proportionate differentiation and broken down other fractals. So you should be able to see other fractals within the fractals. So this makes a 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, typically in the 1, and then a 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 in the 3. And the 5th wave can come in so many different forms. It can come in a channel, for example. That's very, very, very typical. So the 5th wave behaves in a channel. It can also come in forms such as a diagonal, which is also very, very typical as well, that we've seen in many markets. But the 5th wave, sometimes the 5th subwave within the 5th wave sometimes doesn't even form. But once these 5 waves are found in a market pattern, it means that the fucking bull market is over and there's no arguing about it. And what adds even more concrete proof to this theory is if, for example, you're seeing bearishly diverging RSI in a very typical manner. So the wave 1 is low, then the wave 3 is very high, and then the wave 5 makes a lower low. So you call this a bearishly diverging RSI, where the wave 3 is lower in price than wave 5, but it has a stronger strength in the RSI. And then the 5th wave has a higher price, but it has the opposite RSI. It has a lower high. So let me demonstrate it for you in a bull market that we've seen in 2021. So in 2021, I know you guys are probably like, don't vape. It's unhealthy for you. I'll let you guys know when I give a fuck. So this is a very stressful period. I'm going to smoke my life away. I'm going to make sure I die from vaping. I'm just kidding, guys. Vaping is a lot healthier alternative. Everybody's got to have their poison. I've got mine. You can see clearly here that we have a 5-wave fractal found in Bitcoin's 2021 chart, right? This is very clear. It's also exhibiting the exact same RSI that you would imagine. Okay, this is the wave 1 RSI, which is lower than the wave 3, which is the highest, and the wave 5 is lower than the wave 3. So that's your typical bearishly diverging pattern, okay? And then over here, what you're seeing is 5 very fucking clear waves that are forming, right? In every way. Like you can see this thing. You can see it a mile away, right? I saw this a mile away in that bull market, that there was going to be one more wave and then one more after that. For anybody that's been following me, I know that you guys know that. And then the fifth wave makes the ugliest diagonal pattern that I mentioned earlier, usually forms, and then it breaks down. And then after that, it hits a certain Fibonacci level. But because there's only 3 waves that have formed, and then the 4th wave is forming, right? You're gonna expect the 5th wave that happens. And then when the 5th wave happens like that, you know, as soon as you count 5, you're gone. Like, you're fucking gone. As soon as you count 5, get the fuck out of there. There's no more going back in Elliott wave theory based off of that. And 2017 was the same thing, except it was more parabolic and very difficult to catch, right? So based off of Elliott wave theory, 2021 or 2021's bull market, it was very easy to catch. Now let me show you guys a theory that could prove maybe a bull market. Like, I don't give a shit about what the fundamentals say. I don't care about what Michael Saylor is buying. I don't care about how the ETFs are being bought right now and institutions are buying. We don't know shit. They might be playing a bigger game that we can't even understand. All I know is that what I see in the charts, it reflects all fundamental factors and world economic macro factors as well. The charts don't lie, okay? They don't lie because everything fundamentally is shown on the charts, because the price action, it ends up being affected by what happens everywhere. Now, let me show you guys something that is gonna scare the shit out of you, okay? So the 5th wave begins, okay? Right here somewhere, or the first wave rather. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. That makes the 1. This makes the 2, okay? And then you're seeing 1, 2, the biggest 3, the bull flag, and then that makes the 5 that's truncated. Do you see the bull flag? You see the bull flag. Yeah, you see that. So what does that mean, guys? That means that the 3rd wave was done. And then basically what you're seeing is the 4th wave corrects A, B, C, D, E, right there. A 4-wave correction pattern that is very typical of an A, B, C, D, E in the 4th wave. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. A, B, C, D, E. So then the 4th wave makes pretty much a bull flag type pattern. And then the 5th wave starts to break out, okay? The 5th wave breaks out right now. And guess what? The 5th wave is very easily countable as well, okay? I'm not trying to scare the shit out of you guys. I'm just being realistic with how the Elliott wave charts look. And if there was somebody that can argue against me and give me a different opinion based off of Elliott wave, I would love to see that. The only way that the bull market isn't over is if this 5th wave right here makes a hyper extended 5th wave, okay? Which could happen leading up to somewhere like in October or November next year. So this is basically how the pattern would look, right? A gigantic 5th wave. So now I'm going to talk about the breakdown of this wave right here. This is my favorite one. So this was the truncated 4th wave, which means that the first subwave starts here. So if I count this, I counted very easily. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. That's the first wave finishing. And then now I see A, B, C right here. See that? That's the 2nd wave finishing. You'd agree with me? And then what we see here is this is the 3rd wave. This is called a deduction method of counting Elliott waves. You count the largest wave that is the most parabolic. So the 4th wave is always going to be the wave that forms a triangle or a flag. So you know that this is the 4th subwave of some sort. Therefore, by deduction, this must be the 3rd wave. Therefore, the one before it is a 1 and a 2, okay? Therefore, the next one over here is a 4. Then, therefore, the next one after that is a 5, right? Maybe it was an ABC like that. So now you've actually, just by the simple deduction, you've actually counted the entire 4th wave structure as well, okay? So the 4th wave structure is now counted, which means there's only room for one more wave to be counted. So then, therefore, this one is probably something like that, okay? Maybe it got up here actually. Yeah, that's right. The 3rd wave is up there. So then let's go down to like a lower time frame, okay? So let's go to a lower time frame. So this is the fourth wave correction over here, right? So now we're in like a bump. We're like in a really shitty situation. The fifth wave often does something like this, okay? It does something called a diagonal. And a diagonal is also known as a rising bearish wedge, or also known as a leading fifth wave diagonal, where every time there's a movement like this, okay, what happens is it squeezes into this type of triangle. And then what happens typically is it breaks down. But if it doesn't break down, then it could just be part of a larger cycle. So I'm gonna show you guys a case of how we're gonna break down these 5 waves and show you that there's potentially only one more wave to go if there is one, okay? So first of all, we're gonna talk about this channel that's forming. That's been forming for a very long period of time. And this channel needs to be acknowledged. The reason why I was able to call successfully 99,100 yesterday is because of this right here. There is a third wave that must hold true right here, right? So this is most likely the third wave, I'm assuming. This is probably just some sort of flat ABC correction that threw everybody off. A running flat is what it's called, where the B is higher than the third wave. So this is the third wave where it officially ends right here, okay? So this is the third wave. This is the fourth wave, okay, right here. So therefore, the next few waves could possibly make a 5-wave pattern. I exemplified earlier how it could potentially make 5 waves in a diagonal type of pattern, kind of like that. Do you see it? So now that the fourth wave is identified over here, it leaves me with perhaps maybe a 1 in there, a 2 in there, a 3 in there, a 4 right here, and then that's it. And then the fifth wave finishes, potentially touching the top of this fifth wave or of this channel. And that's it. Then all 5 subwaves are literally done and the bull market is over. And it's unfortunate that Elliot wave theory says that this is a high potential because of all this. Like, you look at all of the data right now, okay? You look at the weekly charts. Like, you cannot be blind and oblivious to this. Otherwise, it's gonna get you fucked, man. You see that if this was the true case, you would say, well, is there bearishly diverging RSI? You'd be like, fuck yeah, there is. There's massively bearishly diverging RSI, right? So I'm not trying to scare you guys, but I do have to showcase the fact that this is potentially showing a 5th wave scenario based off of Elliott wave theory. And I've also shown that in previous cycles, we've seen pretty much the exact same behaviors where a 5 Elliott wave pattern was shown combined with bearishly diverging RSI in MACD, right? And then it starts to drop significantly afterwards. But in my opinion, okay, I'm gonna argue the counter as well. I'm gonna argue the counter in terms of I don't believe that the bull market is actually over. What I actually believe instead is something like this, okay? So this was one very popular count, but I have to show the alternative of a very bullish market that's yet to come, while factoring in whales buying $150 million today at $100,000. Whales are buying Cardano, whales are buying Polkadot, Solana, they're buying Render, they're scooping up Ethereum. We have not had an altcoin season technically yet, but it really depends on what you define as an altcoin season, right? People are thinking that an altcoin season needs to go up hundreds and hundreds of percent more, but people are also not acknowledging the fact that you look at a coin like Polkadot, okay? Polkadot has gone up 200% already. You look at Solana, okay? Solana has gone up, like, it's literally gone up 3,300%, right? You look at a coin like Superverse, you know, these coins have gone up like 500%. So what is it, right? Like if you look at, for example, like Render, it's gone up like 250%. So the definition of an altcoin season is really going to vary depending on like what you have experienced before. So if you were in 2017 and 2021, your definition of an altcoin season might be very skewed because you're expecting these thousands and thousands of percent of gains. But keep in mind that the crypto market cap is now at a substantially higher price. So because it's at a substantially higher price, the market cap is going to be increasingly more difficult to multiply and double, thus diminishing the return of the ROI. So coins have rallied a tremendous amount already. And if you're expecting these types of 5x to 10x gains, I just don't think it's going to happen for a lot of these coins that you're putting your money into. But if I had to give an honest answer to a question that you probably have, is the bull market over? No, I don't think it's over because I'm just about to showcase the bullish Elliott wave count that factors in all of these macroeconomic factors, such as large institutions that are piling up as now, like right now, and also how the ROI after the halving lasts for a much longer period than 240 days. This kind of sell-off that we've seen at the Bitcoin channel, this is very, very typical right now. We're going to see it quite often. I think that we're probably going to make one more subwave upwards, okay? But let's get into the Elliott wave count that shows the very, very bullish case, okay? Give me a second. I'm just having a sip of water. Actually, Coke and rum. I don't know why I said water. I lied to you guys. I'm having Coke and whiskey. Cool. I like the comments. I like how there's so much hate most of the times. And you know, like, you don't have to be here, man. Like, you really don't have to be here. Just trust me, it doesn't matter to... I manage a gigantic portfolio. I'm doing very well. Like, you guys don't have to be here, man. Like, trust me. I'm not one of those YouTubers that cares about people following them. People just follow me because I'm honest and real. So let's talk about this channel here and why I predicted a bounce possibly. It was mainly because of this high right there. Also, it was getting increasingly close to this particular place right there of the channel. So it created like a double support kind of thing. You know what I mean? Yeah. Give me 1 second. I'm going to get people to moderate my chat from now on, I realized. I'm going to do that. I'm going to get my lady to moderate my chat during my live streams. So let's talk about the bullish scenario. But by the way, guys, like, it doesn't matter if there's a bullish scenario. This bearish scenario is in, where there's only one more potential for a subwave. It's in, no matter what. No matter what you want to hear, we're going to get a correction probably very fucking soon. I think that in 2 weeks, like, mark my words, guys. Today is December the 19th. In 2 to 3 weeks, between probably January 5th to January 14th, we are probably going to get a 30% drop. Mark my fucking words. Right now, we're fighting for this one last subwave, and that's it, short term. But long term, let's talk about the Elliott wave theory on a bullish scenario. So this here was actually just the first wave that has formed. This is the second, third, fourth, and this is the fifth. And then everything in here is basically an ABC correction with WXYs. Doesn't matter what it is. This was the first, this was the second, which means that this huge one leading up right now, based off of, for example, a 1618 extension, okay, the third wave could possibly get up to like even $150,000, okay? So I'm now taking into account that the fifth subwave is much larger than the third wave. So the fifth one ends up becoming the extended wave instead, okay? So that's how I'm counting it. So then if that was the second wave, we're basically looking at a mega super cycle that's just beginning. That's going to reach some ridiculous numbers. Like, we're talking about something that we can't even understand yet, right? We're talking about a structure like this right now, where it's going to get ridiculously parabolic and like it's going to go to the moon, right? So based off of this Elliott wave analysis, these structures are so bullish that we can't even comprehend. Like perhaps that's actually only the first wave, right? Maybe this is literally only the first wave that's about to finish, and then the second one drops like 30% or something, and then we make like a massive third wave going up, 4, and then a 5 like that. So when I thought that this one was maybe the final 5th subwave, it could in actuality be just the first subwave of a super cycle wave going to the upside. So Elliott wave can be very accurate many times to give you contrast compared to other bull market cycles, but at the same time, because it can offer too many different opinions and too many subjective counts, it cannot be relied on. So because of that, that needs to be understood, that even though Elliott wave says that, okay, the bull market could be over, and even our side, MACD, says, okay, the correction's coming, we got to factor in how interest rates are being cut, right? In the next month, we're probably going to get a 0 rate cut. I think there's going to be a lot of money circulating back into the economy soon with higher borrowing power. And because of that, a lot of this capital could start to shift into altcoins as well very soon. And also factoring in the inauguration, factor in Trump as well, factoring in the inflows for the spot ETFs for both Bitcoin and also Ethereum as well. Like look at IBIT. IBIT's doing pretty damn good right now. You know, like it's doing fucking great. Since IBIT was launched, it's up like 163%, man. You know, like this looks incredible. Wouldn't you guys agree? That looks incredible, the charts. So maybe like a small correction's coming, but I think that these shares are gonna end up substantially increasing very soon. So another factor to look at is like Bitcoin dominance is going up. That's something we need to talk about. Bitcoin dominance goes up. So guess what happens? Altcoins bleed. Altcoins have hit this high, the all-time high of 2021, and now they literally bleed everything, okay? So right now, I don't think we're gonna break it anytime quite soon. So if you actually take a look at many prominent coins that have broken to major highs, they're bleeding slowly right now. So it's a question of, are you comfortable DCAing? Do you believe that the bull market's going to continue? Look at Solana. Solana breaks this high at around 770, which is literally like a 2-year resistance. 2-year resistance. Guess what? It shatters back down below it. It just shows how crazy the market can be. So, okay, Giga asked a very good question about the Bitcoin dominance, okay? So if we go back historically to the Bitcoin dominance, whenever basically January comes around for the bull market year, the dominance ends up dropping substantially. And then every time this happens, if I showed you 2 charts, it makes more sense. Okay, so one is the Bitcoin dominance chart, and the other one is the altcoin market, like the altcoin total crypto market cap, okay? So what you're gonna notice is this. So in 2017, if you look over here, I don't see it well, sorry. In 2017 over here, okay, this is where the Bitcoin dominance dropped. But if you take a look at in total 3 market cap, it doesn't show it. So I gotta go to total 2. I understand now. So here's where it dropped. Bitcoin dominance drops. But if you take a look on the right chart, when Bitcoin dominance drops, the altcoin season begins. In fact, when the Bitcoin dominance drops, lots of money ends up flowing into altcoin. So it starts this massive altcoin season. Now, people thought it was a coincidence, but then you see the same behavior in 2020, near the end of the year, and 2021's bull market at the beginning of the year. So in January, the Bitcoin dominance drops significantly, okay, which is right around this time right here. But look at what happened to the altcoin market. The altcoin market ended up doing 776%, okay? Total 2 market cap, that's right, it excludes Bitcoin. Total 3 market cap excludes Bitcoin and also Ethereum, okay? So right now, every single altcoin is bleeding substantially. it's also Solana. Solana's, you know, really testing this March high right now. It's actually a pretty good buy, and it's holding fairly well relative to how much everything is dropping right now. Okay, so you take a look at pretty much every single coin, and they're bleeding. So I personally believe that like the altcoin season's probably gonna come sometime like in after the big drop. The big drop first, which will be between January the 5th and January the 14th is my prediction. And then after that, that will be the beginning of the altcoin season. So if you take a look at every chart right now, they are correcting in a massive way. Altcoins are not gaining momentum right now. There's no altcoin that's outperforming the market, except for Ondo by a little bit, because Ondo only fell down 20%, whereas, you know, other coins have fallen down 40%. So Ondo and XRP are actually one of the better performing coins. XRP fell 20%, but there's other coins where you think they would be immune to it, but they fall down big too. Link's at 25. I think HBAR is pretty good actually, 28%. Theta drops substantially, so these utility coins are taking a huge hit. And then Link has also fallen down fairly decently, 25%. So a lot of these coins have fallen only like 382 fib to maybe 0.5 fib. So if this altcoin reckoning season I expect to occur because Bitcoin's going to hit this last high, it's going to make that one more wave that I've been explaining, that ending fifth wave diagonal. Based off of Elliot wave, I would say there's like an 80% certainty that that fifth subwave to create the diagonal is going to form with maybe one more high or a double top, and then the market capitulates so fucking hard, altcoins will be brought down with it as well, and then that's going to be one of the best scoops, one of the best ranges that you'll be able to buy. So because of that, I'm not buying fuck all right now. I'm going to stay out of the market, and I'm just going to make sure that I keep looking and observing the market over the holidays. I will wait for this Bitcoin drop. I will not buy anything right now because it makes absolutely 0 sense to buy at the very top of a potential fifth subwave. So I'm going to wait for that drop to occur like in the second week, third week of January. And then after that, I'm going to buy basically every fucking alt you can imagine. I'm gonna go into my futures account as well on Binance and get into like a leveraged like $1.5–2 million long position and add more to my long-term portfolio as well. And then I'm gonna ride it to the end of the bull market season and never fucking look back and make tons and tons of fucking fuck you money. And you guys are gonna do the same. But right now, I highly advise for you guys to keep watching for this fifth wave diagonal that's possibly gonna form. Not only that, watch out for this channel. Once this channel breaks, hell's gonna break loose, guys. Like, it's gonna fuck you up so badly, you won't even know what's coming. Okay, so you guys are gonna feel the pain if this channel ends up breaking. So make sure you're watching this. And all that I'm waiting for right now is for that Hail Mary pass by Bitcoin to make one more stupid ass wave that's gonna make my triangle pattern, that's gonna finish off the fifth subwave. And then after that, we break to the downside so damn hard. Other than that, guys, just want to thank you for your time. Like I said, I'm not going to advertise anything. I wanted to dedicate this time to you guys and only talk about the market. I'm not going to take any questions because, yeah, I'm on vacation mode already, guys. I checked out already. I'm going to London at the end of this weekend to go visit my lady for the holidays. After that, we come back to Turkey. And then after that, my lady and I are heading to the Philippines for like 3 months. And we're going to go work there. So other than that, guys, have yourselves a great day. Thanks for your time. Just click the like button and the notification button. Make sure you guys are subscribed to me on Twitter and on YouTube. And I'll always give you guys the freshest perspective and always be up to date with the market. Because you know what, man? My portfolio depends on it. And because of that, I care about you guys as well. So have yourselves a great day and take care now.